Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the time that you've actually spared today to make it to this webinar where we're going to basically unveil some of the best physical security technologies with advanced analytics for the MENA region that you could use during the course of this year. A quick introduction. My name is Sean Pearl, Business Development Manager at Scylla, covering the MENA region, and I'm based out of the UAE, and I'll be your host today. So, a little bit of a background on myself. I've actually got close to 2 decades of experience when it comes to the security industry specifically. Working very closely with all of our technology partners, system integrators, consultants, end users, showcasing different technology that can be put into various applications when it comes to the security industry. And joining me today is also my colleague, Anastasia, the marketing manager for the region. Thank you, Anastasia, for putting this webinar together. And our main objective actually today is how you can basically use technology more smartly in terms of your security operations to make it more proactive, to make it more productive, and also a lot more efficient. So today's session is actually being recorded, so you can grab your hands on this recording post the webinar. It will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel, so you could access it from there as well. And we'd like to make this webinar a lot more interactive. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll actually find a Q&A box. Please feel free to shoot out any questions in case of any queries, or if you'd like more information on some specific solutions, and we'll be happy to answer them. Right, so let's get started. Now, before I actually take you through the solutions that Scylla has got to offer, I wanted to give you a bit of a quick overview on where the physical security market actually stands in the MENA region. So if we look at this, it's growing at quite a significant rate, I would say. And if you just look at some statistics like what you see on screen now, this is expected to grow up to $4 billion by 2028, which is, quite a significant increase of 7% from 2022 to 2028. So we've got so much that's actually happening in the region, with different enhancements on physical infrastructure, on so much of construction projects that we actually hear of catering to schools, malls, entertainment facilities, implementation of smart cities. So for you as a system integrator or as an end user, there is so much that you actually need to cater to, not just from a regular surveillance point of view, but you are also going to be faced with a lot of scenarios wherein you've got to deal with, vandalism, for example, or breaches that you have on your perimeter, or you got to cater to instances where you had some sort of a mishap or a casualty on site, or thefts, or any sort of violent activities. So this is actually what we're going to look at precisely in today's webinar. How, with the implementation of smarter technology with video analytics on your existing CCTV infrastructure, you can make your operations a lot more efficient. So before I jump into the different products and solutions that we actually have to offer, I actually want to give you a little bit of a background first. Come to think of it today, we talk so much about AI. AI being the future, it driving so many different operations. It can do this, it can do that. You can automate processes, you can reduce human intervention, and all of that is actually good. But you also need to make sure that you're putting the right sort of technology into the right sort of applications so that you get the most of it. So when you actually talk about an AI company, I'm sure for you as a partner, there's a lot more that you would like to understand first about the company itself. Of course, you would want to know what are the different sort of products and technology solutions that are on offer. But apart from that, a little more about the company itself. So who they are, what is, how long have they been in this operating space? What are the different kinds of solutions that they offer? What are their resource and capabilities? So I just want to give you a little bit of a background on this to begin with. And then in the next few slides, then we'll take a look at how with our technology solutions for video analytics, we can cater to your requirements more effectively. So just to give you a quick background, now the first thing for me to mention while I introduce Scylla is all of our technology. That means all of our tech, our R&D, everything is done in-house and within the company. So traditionally, if you look at CCTV projects, you've got your cameras in place, the storage in place, but all that is it's required to do actually is just regular surveillance, and that's it. It stops at that. But given today's, project environments, it is so fast paced, it's so dynamic. You've got so many different changes and new requirements that are coming up that you're required to actually cater to. So just having CCTV in place, monitoring everything manually, that is no good these days. So what we do at Scylla is we actually add a layer of intelligence on top of your CCTV network. So thereby we make those devices a lot more smarter. You can implement technology effectively to catch on incidents and events in real time. That is the whole objective of our video analytics, so that you can deal with any sort of incidents or events as soon as they happen, get the alerts, get someone to address it, and possibly minimize the damage as much as possible. So just to give you a little bit of a background on the company, now the gentlemen that actually came together to form Scylla, so I'm talking about the co-founders, the advisors. These are people that have actually been in the security industry for a fairly long period of time. And they also have very impressive backgrounds. I'm talking about people that are ex-NASA, ex-FBI, they're holding PhD doctorates. So there's a lot of tech, a lot of R&D that has actually gone into Scylla being formed. And we consider ourselves as a problem-solving company. So we've identified what are the issues and challenges in the security industry, and we've actually come up with solutions for them. So we carry an existing portfolio of analytics that are ready off the shelf. But at the same time, our vision and our roadmap is also to develop new solutions, that is required in the security industry. So when we talk about implementation of these analytics, it's quite important to understand that scenario number one could be where you're catering to new projects where you've got the luxury of, planning this out a little better, proposing the kind of infrastructure that you need to go along with the analytics. But in a lot of cases, you're required to implement analytics on existing CCTV projects. So what this means is that you have to work with whatever existing infrastructure is there on site. So when it comes to Scylla offering its analytics, this is the important thing to actually point out, that we are completely camera agnostic. What that means is it doesn't matter what sort of camera brand you've got on site, whether you've got an entry level brand, whether you've got an enterprise brand, we work with all different ranges of cameras. And the way we actually do this is, let me just show you a very quick image of our smart edge monitoring device. This is something that we refer to as our exterior box. So this is a smart edge monitoring GPU based device, which has actually got enough of processing capability to process all of your analytics on live feeds and in real time. This is the whole point of the solution. So how we do this is, from your existing cameras, we pick up a secondary RTSP stream. And just bear in mind, it's the secondary RTSP stream, which means that all of your regular CCTV operation, which is your recording, your viewing, your monitoring, all of that continues the way it is. We don't disturb that or disrupt that in any way. All we are doing is we are pulling the secondary RTSP stream, mapping it to this device, and in real time on the live feeds, all of the analytics are being processed. So you've got our system that is just running in parallel to your regular CCTV operations. And this can very, very easily be integrated into your existing VMSs as well. Something that we'll look at a little later. Right. So at Scylla, we actually we place a lot of importance when it comes to compliances as well. So all of our solutions, they adhere to all of the industry standards. Our solutions are also well certified with all of the industry standards. And for us at Scylla, we believe in not just sale of the product, So what you will get from us is we handhold our partners all along the way, starting right from the pre-sale stage. So if there's any assistance you require in terms of site visits, in terms of designs, in terms of compiling a BOQ, we are there with you. through that phase, of course, to the sales phase and also the post-sales phase, which is quite an important element as well, because at the end of the day, you are measured with the kind of service that you provide your clients with. So we are there with you as your partner in the background to assist you with any sort of requirements that you might have. And keeping this in mind, we've actually got a 24 by 7 customer support center that has been set up to basically address any sort of queries that you might have on, troubleshooting, setup, configuration, and also to make the life of our partners a little more easier. Each time we actually ship all of our boxes, of course, we know what the analytics requirements are. So we preload the modules onto the box. So when it comes to you, the setup and configuration is already done. So it's more of a plug and play kind of solution, not exactly plug and play, because once you take it to site, there are still a few things that you'll need to do in terms of, adding the cameras, deploying the modules, but 80% of your work is already done, and even at site, our team actually gets involved to remotely assist you with any sort of setup that you might require, keeping the final configurations in mind. So when we talk about analytics, see, it's important to understand that this is a combination of software and hardware. And the hardware component can actually be quite a big, chunk of your overall proposal cost. So what we've done at Scylla is we've actually got a small study done because we realized that it has quite an impact, from a financial perspective. So we've made a comparison as to what Scylla's hardware requirements are to run the video analytics. And we've come to find out that we are actually roughly around 3 to 7 times cheaper as compared to our competitors. Now, you would have heard of a lot of cases, wherein very often you get told that, oh, we've got cameras. These cameras, they've got analytics that run on the edge, and that is doing the job. So it is fine to an extent, but what you've got to understand is, see, the whole idea or the reason why you're actually implementing the analytics is for two precise reasons. Number one is that you have a proactive system in place wherein you get your alerts and notification as soon as an incident occurs. And the second and very important part is for accuracy. Now, all of these analytics that are being run on the camera level at the edge, these are being done at a CPU level. Whereas if you look at our solutions, we are actually doing this on dedicated GPU devices, which are specific to running these sort of applications. So if you look at our solutions in terms of reliability, in terms of accuracy, a GPU-based server is going to give you far, far more reliability and accuracy as compared to a CPU device. So just something to keep in mind. And like I said, the reason of implementing the analytics is mainly you have an efficient automated system in place that gives you your alerts as and when incidents occur. So what is a mission statement at Scylla? Now, to tell you a little more about this, but before I jump to that, let me just summarize the background of the company. So we've actually been established for 6 years as Scylla. As a brand, we are a US brand headquartered in Austin, Texas. We've got regional offices in Poland, Oman, close to around 100 employees. And the company has actually seen a steady growth year on year since the past few years, which I think goes a long way to just make a statement with regards to the stability of the company. So coming to the mission statement for Scylla. Now, let me explain this to you in a different way, giving you a very practical and realistic scenario. If you look at regular CCTV operations today, this is the kind of environment that you've basically got, right? You've got a control room, you've got maybe 3 or 4 guards or operators actually sitting in that control room, a big video wall with like hundreds of cameras being displayed. Now, humanly, it does not become possible for these 3, 4 operators to catch on every single incident that is, taking place. It's just not possible. And this could be due to a variety of reasons. Sorry, excuse me. So these reasons could be maybe the guard is too tired, he's working for long hours, he cannot concentrate, he's not on his seat, he's on a break. Or how many times we've even come up with scenarios wherein there's a robbery or there's some sort of vandalism, but you actually get to know about it a few days later. And the reason for that is because, let's say, someone is within your premises that has physically gone to that place, seen that something has been damaged. Or if you're doing an inventory check, that is the time when you're actually going through your inventory. That is the time you actually realize, oh, I have some stolen goods here. So this is exactly where our analytics come into the picture. Can you imagine in this sort of a scenario where there is a vandalism or there's a theft and you come to know about it a few days later, how much of resource you are actually spending? Sorry. How much of resource you're actually spending in terms of manual efforts being done. So what do people do in such scenarios? The guard or the operator, they're going to go back into the CCTV recordings, spend so much of time manually checking all of the recordings, trying to find out what happened, when it happened, who was involved, all of these things. But you see the amount of time, the amount of money, the amount of resource that you're actually spending in all these operations. And with technology is available for use. You just have to use it a little more smartly and implement it the right way to get out more efficient results. So with our analytics, basically you have a system that is automated, wherein the engine is actually defined to pick up on certain kinds of events and incidents, of course, depending on the kind of analytics that you're opting for. And based on this, you just have the alerts coming to you on a regular basis. So all the operator needs to do is just get them addressed in time. So this is the whole idea. We look at changing your CCTV outlook itself into making it a lot more proactive. Don't wait for an incident, go back and then start doing all your post analysis work. That really doesn't serve the purpose. Plus, like I mentioned at the start, at Scylla, all of our solutions are developed in-house. So tomorrow, if you have the need, let's say for a custom application, we can look at solutions being developed very specifically for that as well. Of course, each development project comes with a development fee, but it's nice for you to know that, your AI partner has actually got the resource, has actually got the capability to deliver these kind of customized applications as well. So in essence, this is what we do. We pick up the video feed from your cameras. All of this actually gets analyzed, and then the engine is, of course, trained to pick up on specific kind of activities, wherein we identify alerts, notifications, all of that. And then all of that is basically sent to the operator so that it can be dealt with immediately. Right. So in terms of industries, we've actually catered to pretty much everything across the board. Each industry requires analytics. It's just that specific analytics are going to be applicable to specific industries. So we've catered to projects starting from airports to hospitals, healthcare, educational facilities, mining, transportation, waste management facilities, you name it, we've got a reference in that particular industry segment. So what we've done is we've actually come up with very specific solution documents for each of these industries. And in these solution documents, what we've actually done is we've defined, number one, what are the pain points in these particular industries? So what are the challenges that these end users basically face? Secondly, we looked into what sort of an impact it has got on that particular industry segment. So how does it impact, let's say, from a financial perspective, from an administrative perspective, from a safety and security perspective? And finally, with the implementation of our analytics, how you can actually have these solutions being deployed more smartly, wherein you make those organizations a lot more productive, a lot more efficient, and in a lot of cases, even help them save money. In addition to, catering to any sort of health and safety regulations that you need to monitor as well. So let's take a quick look into some of the products and solutions that we have on offer. Okay. One of the analytics that we actually offer is aerial surveillance. Now, the use of drones is actually becoming a lot popular in the region. Drones being used for various different applications and even in security for that matter. But traditionally, if you see how this is actually implemented, So traditionally, you will see something like this, the image that you can see on screen. You've got a drone, you've got a camera that is fitted on the drone. So as long as the operator, which could be in a control room, maybe a few kilometers away, as long as he's in front of his screen, he's got the controls, he's watching his screen, he can manually pick up on any sort of incidents or events that are taking place. But like I mentioned before, the whole idea here is how you can use available technology more smartly. So what we do is we actually add a layer of intelligence on top of the footage that we are receiving. So you can have this deployed in one of two ways. Case number one would be wherein you have your streams from the camera that is fitted on the drone all being sent across to a central server or a central location. And at that same place, you've got our edge monitoring device as well, which is accessing the live feeds, and all of the analytics are being processed. That is case number one. Case number two could be where on the drone itself, you've got the drone, you've got the camera, and we've got our box fitted on this drone as well. So in real time, on the go, as you are getting visual footage of, the scene that is being monitored, at the same time, you have the analytics also that are being processed. So key takeaways here is that this works very, very efficiently. I'll show you a video in a bit, but it works very, very efficiently, even with non-static environments. What this means is, irrespective of whatever changes are happening in your background, however dynamic the scene is, or if there's a lot of movement, we are still able to actually pick up on specific activity very precisely. It also comes integrated with an eagle eye zooming algorithm that allows to operate at larger distances. So if you're catering to any projects that require patrolling, perimeter surveillance, a very, very apt solution. So let me just have this video played very quickly to give you a better. So like you've seen in this video, this used case was very specifically the usage of drones with object detection. And here the object detection was a weapon, which was actually a gun. So if you see in this video, we've done one of two things. Number one is where you can see the person actually, let's say the criminal actually coming to these people, and we pick up on the presence of one of the objects, which is a gun, like you can see here. But along with this, what we've also done is we've also tagged the person that is holding that object. So this is our second object detection, which is the person holding the gun. Why? Because in such a scenario, it's not necessary that this person could only approach the people here. He could go to this car here, he could enter this building here. From a security perspective, it's important that you have visibility on where this person has actually gone, the trail that he's taken, so that you can address it effectively. So this is just one use case scenario. Of course, you could have this put into application in other applications as well. So aerial surveillance is one. Then we also cater to analytics that are required for abandoned objects. Now, for abandoned objects, now it's quite a hot topic these days, for a lot of institutions like transportation hubs, critical infrastructure sites, law enforcement authorities. All of these institutions are basically looking at utilizing their existing CCTV network to pick up on any sort of unattended objects in public places, either in real time or through a forensic video. But what you've got to understand is these abandoned objects, especially in public places, it poses a big threat to safety, public safety. Why? Because you never know what the nature of these goods are. It could be hazardous, it could be critical. We don't know. But ideally, you would want to get notified about this instantly so that you can actually have some action taken about it. So what we do here is we actually use smart algorithms to detect any sort of unusual objects in the scene. And here again, this works very, very effectively in spite of like moving backgrounds or dynamic changes in the background. We are still able to pick up on unattended objects very specifically. Now, the unattended objects is of course linked to someone or something, like an object could be left behind by a person, for example, or you have an object that is left behind by a vehicle. So these are things that we also take into consideration. Let me just show you a quick video on how this actually works. Let's come here. Right. So if you see the screen on here, now this is actually an airport. We've actually marked out some zones because you wouldn't really have a person leave an object right in the middle of, this particular scene. So we have marked out some zones. And as soon as we've identified, like you can look at this person, for example, he walks away from the bag, we have this alerted immediately. So there are a few things, of course, that you're going to define in terms of how long before an object is left behind do I want an alert. All of that can be looked into. But these alerts are processed in real time so that you can actually do something about it instantly. So what else? In the object detection, we've got a range of other solutions that we also provide, one of which is knife detection. Now, out here in the Middle East, when we talk about physical threats, we are not faced with a lot of cases where guns are involved, particularly. But nevertheless, we have come across instances where knives are involved. And this is something that Scylla is already catering to in the region, on a few opportunities. So what you've got to understand is, number one, that since it is a physical threat, first thing you need to do is identify this immediately so that you can reduce the risk to the people around and even in terms of public safety. So we've actually got smart algorithms that are able to analyze, just like you've seen in the previous video, how the guns were detected. Similarly, we've got these algorithms to basically analyze the presence of a knife, and this is being done on an automated basis. See, if you're catering to any sort of project environments wherein large crowds are involved, it's going to become very difficult for you to actually pick up on this manually. So an automated system in place that immediately picks up on this. Then in object detection, we've also got foreign object debris, or FOD, like we refer to it as. Now, in foreign object debris, now this can actually cause significant damages to, airlines, to airports, and they are in millions of dollars. So according to a recent statistic, it was revealed that the damages can go up to $4 billion every year. And let's not forget the kind of threat that it poses to, airlines and even to personal injuries of people. So we actually use our algorithms again very smartly from the cameras to actually pick up on any sort of unattended objects, even if it is at a distance. Also covered in our object detection solution is litter detection. Now, you could have litter in various places. It could be in public places, in driveways, in transportation and hubs. Now, this actually poses a threat not only to environmental safety, but it could also result in property damage because you don't really know what the nature of these goods are. Hazardous, critical, I don't know. And many a times it becomes very difficult, because sometimes these objects are very small in nature. They're difficult to spot using conventional sensors. But with Scylla, we've actually implemented solutions for these already that work very effectively. So we have existing use cases already where our solution has been deployed. So we use very robust algorithms to actually pick up on an unattended objects. And this also works very effectively even with a moving background. Also in the object detection, we've got something referred to as robbery mask detection. Now, where this is particularly beneficial is, let's say you've got a scenario wherein you're trying to cater to some sort of theft, right? Now, the person committing this theft, of course, he would perhaps know that, okay, there are CCTV cameras in place, but what he's going to do, he's going to try and conceal his identity. He's going to put a mask around him so that his face cannot be seen. So these are sort of the scenarios that we cater to very effectively with our robbery mask, wherein in real time, as soon as something of this sort is spotted, a person with a full mask, we have an alert actually shoot it out straight away. So let me just show you a quick video so you get a proper understanding on this. So here we go. This is just an example of the robbery mask detection. Like you can see, the person actually enters the scene here. He's got his full face covered. And as soon as the camera basically sees that, we've got alerts that are generated straight away. So you can deal with it instantly and, of course, minimize the damage as much as possible. Right. So that is as far as the object detection is concerned. Then we've also got solutions for gun detection. Now, in our region, in the MENA region, of course, this can be very, very specific requirements. You know, if you're catering to any sort of, let's say, military, army, defense, special forces, or even if it comes to perimeter patrolling or border projects, something that could be very, very a handy tool to actually use. We are very proud to say at Scylla that we are one of the market leading solutions when it comes to gun detection. We've got very, very impressive accuracy rates, which are exceeding 97%, a very, very false positive low rate of 0.1% per day per camera. And you can have this very easily integrated into a lot of existing VMSs as well. So I'll just have this quick video shown because I want to show you how effective it is. So you see here, I mean, there is so much of, I mean, quick movement in this scene, right? In spite of that, very specifically, when a weapon has actually been detected, we've actually caught on that, and the alert has been provided straight away. So when it comes to gun detection, by far we are one of the best solutions that are actually available on the market, and we've actually taken this to the next level. You know, not only do we classify or give you an alert on the presence of an object, which is a gun, but at the same time, we can even go down to the level of classifying that gun. Let me just show you a very quick example. Uh, So here, this is our dashboard. I'll tell you about it in a bit. But what I want to show you very specifically is for our gun detection, we can actually have all of these different classifications made on as to what type of a gun is it. Is it a regular gun? Is it a rifle? In case of knives, that can be picked up in case of shotguns. So not only do we detect the presence of the weapon, but we can even go down to the level of classifying the weapon, the gun in this case. Right. So we've also got solutions that cover perimeter. Now, one of the biggest challenges that you've got in an outdoor installation, and I'm sure that all of you guys can actually relate to this very, very well, is the number of false alarms that I actually receive. And you know, let's look at this very practically. There are so many different factors that can trigger these false alarms. You could have shaking trees, you could have shadows, you could have animals, you can have change in lighting conditions that triggers recording, or maybe the pole that the camera is mounted on that shakes a little, recording is triggered. So the question is, how can I actually control this, as with so many false alarms that are being generated on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? At the end of the day, if I've factored storage for 30 days, my storage is getting used up far before that. So how can I implement technology that is a little more smart and helps me control these false alarms well? So just take a quick look at this video. This is where I think our perimeter intrusion is actually showcased quite effectively. Now, this is an image that is taken from a camera, or a video rather, taken from a camera that is more than 10 years old, right? Now, 10 years ago, of course, we didn't have the kind of technology that we have today. So we didn't have the good resolutions or the high resolutions like we have today. So this is Scylla. This is a third-party system. Let me just play this video. So if you see the video itself, you know, you can see that the image quality is low, the resolution is low, there's so much of noise in the image. But in spite of that, you see this guy is actually going to pull up from his car very shortly. So in spite of this sort of an image or this sort of a video quality that we are working with, as soon as this guy actually comes out, you see, we've picked up on the intrusion, but not just that, we've even classified the intrusion. Like in this case, very specifically, this is a person. Whereas with a lot of third-party systems, sometimes even with static objects, stationary items, you still manage to get a lot of false alerts. So at the end of the day, the false alarms, it's triggering your recording, it's using your storage, and it's not really helping the cause in any way. So with our intrusion detection systems, like I said, this is very, very beneficial. It helps you save on a lot of false alarms. Let me just show you another quick video from here, because I want to specifically demonstrate each time we have an intrusion, we not only pick up on that as an alert saying that there's an intrusion in your facility, but you can go down to the level of classifying the intrusion as well based on different labels. So I can have the intrusion classified as people, as trucks, as boats, as vehicles, as motorcycles. I've got all of this flexibility on offer. So if tomorrow I've heard of something that has actually happened on my site, and I want to look at intrusions that were made specifically by people, I can go down to that level as well. So if I just come on to the alarms, the history of my alarms, I can actually filter down saying I want all events based on intrusion, and I want to check under the intrusion specifically with a label of a person. So if I do this, I say apply filter, and here I've got all of the alerts or alarms that were received very specifically for intrusion with people. Similarly, I can have this filtered out based on any of these different criteria. In a lot of intrusion, a lot of projects that you cater to intrusion detection, many a times along the fence, you've got sensors, right? Now, why I really don't see this to be a good solution is because you have an alert on the intrusion, or the sensor giving you an alert when there is a physical intrusion. So, the whole point of the solution is defeated. Why? Because by that time, the person has already breached your perimeter. It's too late. Whereas with our solutions, we can give you these alerts when they are in the proximity of your perimeter. So before something actually happens, you spot it immediately and you can do something about it. That's where we see our solutions to be different. So along with perimeter intrusion, we've also got something called as false alarm filtering. Now, false alarm filtering, this is a cloud-based solution. We use computer vision, we use our AI, and this is specifically triggered based on validated activity. So the system actually differentiates, or it's got the intelligence to differentiate between a scene. Now, scene could be many things that are happening in the background. It could be rain, wind, snow, shaking trees, all of these things. And what are the things that actually matter? What are the things that you actually need to focus on and trigger recording based on? Like a person passing by? Yes. But even in the person passing by, let's say I'm looking at a scene wherein I'm sitting here and I've got a fan running on top. Now with the blades of that fan going round and round, that is still considered as motion, right? But are there any changes to me as a person? I matter. The recording is being done keeping me in mind as a person. So all of these things are actually analyzed across single frames, across multiple frames, and only the true events that matter, recording is triggered very specifically only based on that. So here again, you end up saving a lot on false alarms. We actually have a good option that you can choose, wherein you can get a free demo for 1 week based on cloud POC, where you can actually test these systems out. And I would really encourage you to go for this, because we've had this offered to a lot of our clients, and they've actually come back saying how, with the implementation of this specific system, they've managed to reduce on their false alarms very, very significantly. In a lot of cases, even in surplus of 90%. So you can imagine how much of storage you're going to end up saving at the end of the day as well. What else? So Scylla also offers some analytics that cater to smoke and fire. Now, these smoke and fire, it has mainly been designed and developed to effectively address a variety of environmental threats, to human life, to properties, to valued assets. Now, this can be installed both indoors and outdoors. But the key takeaway here is that we have trained our systems to be very, very sensitive to any source of false positives. So what are the false positives? This could be sun, this could be clouds, this could be maybe lights in the night. There are many things sometimes when we talk about fire and smoke. Number one is you need to pick up on this immediately. So just take a look at this video. So here, first thing I want to point out that the distance between the camera and this smoke is quite huge. You know, in spite of this distance, we are actually able to pick up on this very, very accurately. Number one. And two is, you see, every fire generally tends to begin with smoke. So it's important that you pick up on this smoke generation instantly. So you've got a lot of factors many a times that look like smoke, but it's not actually smoke. Like for example, evaporation. Or if I show you this image again, wherein you actually seen clouds in the background. Now the color of that cloud and the smoke is very, very similar. It's very easy to get false alarm saying that, okay, this is also smoke. But for us at Scylla, we actually analyze a lot of different things. We look into the color, we look into the density, we look into the direction. Is it moving upward, sideways? All of this is actually analyzed. And once we've got all the boxes checked, that is the only time we give our alerts out based on true fire and true smoke. So we've actually got shootouts done, Skylar versus competitors. And I can tell you very confidently that our smoke and fire solutions are very, very effective and very, very accurate. We've actually come out on top when we've had shootouts with other competition. So there are a lot of questions we actually get asked on the fire and smoke, saying what is the maximum distance, detection distance for smoke. Now, to answer this, this would actually depend on a combination of different factors. It would depend on camera resolution, what is the amount of visible smoke, what is the kind of illumination you have. But in general, the detection is always more reliable when you've got, the event instance covering more than 5% of the height of the frame. That's when you can be rest assured that, your detections are a lot more accurate. Then we also get asked, can Skyline's fire and smoke differentiate between fog and smoke? Now, our accuracy rates on smoke and fire is very, very impressive. They are in surplus of 95%. And we've trained our engines very, very specifically to distinguish between fog and smoke. So you can rest assured that you don't really get any false alarms on this. What else? So in the portfolio, we also cover a lot of analytics that we classify as anomaly behavior. So what do we mean by anomaly behavior? This is not normal behavior. So this is behavior related, gesture related analytics, where we cater to a lot of different scenarios. For example, if someone slips and falls, or if you're looking at it from a retail perspective, if someone is actually trying to steal something, or if someone is fighting, all of these things that we can actually pick up on. uh, where we stand to be different from our competitors is, number one, that all of these alerts are processed in real time. You can have this deployed as a central solution that can either work with a single stream or multiple streams all at the same time. And then you've got some flexibility in terms of the deployment as well. So let me quickly show you what it is that we actually cover in each of these solutions. So the first thing that we do in the anomaly behavior is something that we refer to as suspicious shopping behavior or thefts. Basically, if someone is shoplifting. So very, very beneficial in the retail industry, definitely, because you can help these end customers actually identify if there is any sort of, robbery. But let me just show you this very quickly. So how this actually works in real time. Let's just come to the thefts, suspicious shopping behavior. So if you see your screen here, this lady has actually picked up something from a shelf and put it into a bag, right? So the whole gesture, this is actually what we catch, of someone actually taking something from a shelf, putting it into their bags or putting it into their pockets. This is picked up as an anomaly, and we've got alerts that are basically thrown up straight away. So along with the theft detection, we've also something that we refer to as aggressive fighting behavior or fight detection, basically. So let me just have this demonstrated with this video quickly. So we've actually trained our engine to identify what a fight actually is. So if you see this video, two people shaking hands, system says, okay, that's fine. Coming together, hugging, again, system says, okay, that's fine. But the whole gesture of me, let's say, taking my fist and going to punch somebody, or in this case, where two guys are actually coming too close and they start pushing each other, this is what we pick up as a fight. So all of these alerts are given in real time, and you can actually have this dealt with then accordingly. So fight detection is one of the other anomaly detections that we do. And we've also got slip and fall. Now, slip and fall, like the name suggests, this is when a person actually slips and falls. These alerts, again, are given in real time. So use cases for this definitely in the healthcare industry. So we are talking hospitals, clinics, aged homes, nursing homes, all these places you can have this implemented very, very effectively. So many times, even in the healthcare industry, you come across scenarios where people actually fall and they are just on the floor and no one actually knows about it till a person physically walks in, sees them, and then you cater to them. Now, in the healthcare segment, this could actually prove being critical, because you don't know the condition of that person, and that 15 minutes or that 30 minutes could well end up saving the life of that person. So you can use technology here more smartly, which automatically is trained to give you these alerts and you can deal with them. So that's slip and fall. But the use case for this is not only in the healthcare. I would say it's very, very applicable even in oil and gas, industrial and manufacturing plants. These are all places where, the working conditions are not very conducive, I would say. So every possibility of a person actually maybe not feeling well, falling down, having a heat stroke. At the end of the day, the employer is responsible for the safety of his employees. So if you have such a system in place that gives you instant notifications in real time, you can of course have it addressed more proactively. What else? So Scylla also offers solutions that cover face recognition. Now, the traditional face recognition is not just enough these days, So first of all, our face recognition solutions have got a very, very impressive accuracy rate, which is close to around 99%. So you can rest assured you have an efficient system in place. But we use it for more than just regular face rec. So with regular face rec, you can create a database, you can have whitelists, you can mark your blacklist with a call to action. So every time you have a person from the blacklist that appears, you can basically get notified and you can choose what you want to have done. Send an alarm, send an email, whatever. But we look at using face recognition for various different applications, one of which is you can use it with access control. Now, post COVID, there are a lot of organizations that have become a little more particular on how I can use face recognition to have a contactless access control system. So traditionally, what happens is in, let's say, an office environment or any other institutional facility, if you've got employees, they'll come to the entrance. You've got a reader there. They will either present their, let's say, access card, or they've got a biometric reader. They will place their finger, and the door opens. Now, if you're looking to implement this as a contactless solution, you can actually use your face as a ticket. So basically, we enroll the person comes in front of the camera at the entrance, the camera sees him, recognizes him, validates him, sends a relay onto the access control, which is either a door or a turnstile, and the door opens. So no need for any biometric fingerprints, no need for any access cards. He can just walk through seamlessly. This is the first case scenario. Second case could be where I am trying to create an additional layer of security. So best example to give you would be, let's say you've got an employee that has actually lost his access card, right? Now, anyone that gains access to this card can very well just take it, go to the reader, present it, and walk through. There's no way you can validate that. So what we do or what we offer here is creating two different levels of security. Number one is we use face recognition. So the person comes in front of the camera, camera sees him, validates and authenticates him as an employee. Only once that is done, he's allowed to present his card. So we've created a two-factor authentication where you can rest assured that only the authorized people are actually entering the premises. So this is quite a handy feature to use. But apart from this, this is one very, very good feature I would say that you should implement, especially if you're looking at retail sort of applications. So we call this our face recognition with auto enrollment. Now, what the auto enrollment actually means that every single person that crosses the view of the camera, irrespective of whether they are already enrolled or they are visitors, contractors, anything of that sort, the camera grabs a snapshot and stores them onto a database. So what do we have in the database is we've got a picture of the person, but we don't just do that. We classify that person as well. So we put him into a particular age group. We classify the gender of that person. Is he a male or a female? So take a look at this video just to show you how this works in real time.
Welcome to the future of secure access control with Scylla AI face recognition and auto enrollment. Let us take you on a journey of seamless identification and enhanced surveillance. As soon as a person enters, Scylla's powerful AI system automatically enrolls their face, effortlessly capturing their unique features. Within seconds, that person is seamlessly added to the system.
I'm just going to pause this here because this is what I actually want to show you guys. Now, as soon as this person walked in, right, number one is we grabbed a face, a picture of the face. Second is his details are tagged with a very, very unique ID. So why this is particularly beneficial for me is if I've got a facility or let's say a retail kind of an operation wherein I've got people coming in. Yeah. Now these are people that are not enrolled in my database. So with this sort of an application, there is so much that I can do. I can actually keep a tab of who my unique visitors are, because each person that is not enrolled is getting tagged with a very unique ID. Plus, if let's say this person has walked into the store today and he comes into the same store maybe 3 weeks later, he's again picked up under this ID itself. So here, along with my unique visitors, I can also have a lot of information on who my repeating visitors are. So you see, when we talk about a lot of places like retail, government institutions, customer service organizations, here you are giving these customers so much more than just regular surveillance. You're giving them so much of data. Here you can actually give information on your unique visitors, your returning visitors. Since I have this classification also being made in terms of gender, along with just telling, customer A, for example, you had 100 people that got into your store today, I can go down to the level of telling them from the 100, X number were male, Y number were female. So I'm giving them that sort of a breakdown. So imagine how much, how well these clients can actually use these sort of data-driven statistics to improve their operations, to utilize their resources more effectively. Even in terms of their marketing, you're giving them information based on specific target groups, male, female, kids, all of these things. So if they need to run any sort of marketing campaigns, all of the information is actually available through what we are offering. So our face recognition, like I said, there's a lot more than we do than just the standard face rec. You can also use this as a time and attendance system. So we just have one camera marked as entry, one as exit, and you can have this entire thing operate as a proper time and attendance system wherein you can monitor people's entry times, exit times, break times. And in the time and attendance, there is one very, very interesting feature, something that we refer to as a still insight feature. And where this is particularly applicable or very beneficial, I would say, let's say tomorrow you've got a scenario wherein there is an emergency or an evacuation. Let's just assume there's a fire in the building. Now, in such a scenario, your primary objective is to evacuate everyone from the building, right? But in order to do that, the first thing you need to know is who are the people that are still in the building. If you have just a standard face rec solution in place, of course, based on all of the people that are enrolled in that database, it will tell you maybe you've got employees and other staff and everything in that database. It'll tell you from the employees, from the staff, so many people have been evacuated, so many are still in the building. But when I talk about practical applications, to if you're looking at a site you don't just have employees, you don't just have regular staff, you've got cleaners, you've got contractors, you've got visitors, so many people that actually come in. With our face recognition, with auto enrollment, you're keeping a tab of on everyone that is within that premises. So in such a scenario, if there's a fire and you activate this feature, it will give you a complete list of people within the building and that have exited, sorry, not just for the enrolled people on the database, but whoever was there in that premises. So a very, very handy feature you can use very, very effectively. What else? So we've also got, just coming to the retail segment again, certain analytics that you can implement very effectively. Just take a quick look at this video.
In today's fast-paced retail environment, understanding customer behavior is key to success. But how can retailers gain valuable insights to optimize their operations and enhance the shopping experience? Introducing Scylla's Traffic Flow Analysis, the cutting-edge tool designed specifically for retail stores, shopping malls, and similar locations. Accurately measure foot traffic and get actionable data with heat maps on customer flow to streamline your store layout, drive sales, and improve operational efficiency. Gain insights into visitor count by specific areas within your store, enabling you to allocate resources and tailor marketing strategies effectively. Understand how customers move within your store with our directionality lines, allowing you to optimize traffic flow and enhance the overall shopping experience. Receive comprehensive and insightful reports, providing you with the data-driven intelligence needed to make informed decisions and drive business growth. Turn insights into impact. With Scylla's Traffic Flow Analysis, empower your business with the tools it needs to thrive in today's competitive landscape. Get started today and unlock the potential of your retail space. Book a demo at Scylla.
So this was just a quick video. Our traffic flow analysis, it's a single module, but there is so much that you can actually achieve with it. You can get people counts, you can get heat maps, we can give you alerts in terms of crowds that are forming. You can search for people, you can identify your peak hours. Also, a very interesting feature that we offer called as dwell time analysis. So this is a tool that actually helps your clients, especially let's say you're catering to like a restaurant, right? Now in the restaurant, these clients are quite keen and eager to actually know how I can improve the efficiency of my restaurant. So how long does it actually take for a waiter to serve a table? Or how long does it actually take in the kitchen for someone to actually make a dish? All of these things are something that we can actually have analyzed. So let me just show you something very, very quickly in terms of all of the different analytics that we cover in traffic flow. One of which is crowd detection. So you can actually have zones drawn up here, like you can see, with a certain threshold being defined in the zone. So as soon as that is breached, you basically have an alert saying that, okay, there's a crowd here. So you can use this more smartly to actually manage operations within a facility. Then we've also got something called as attribute search. Now, if you're looking for someone in particular, the best example to give you would be, let's say we come across a lot of scenarios in malls where you have children that go missing. How do I actually use technology a little more smartly to identify this person? So I can have this done by applying some filters based on my recorded video, filters based on whether the person is male or female, a particular age group, the color of his shirt, the color of the lower wear, is he wearing any sort of accessories? And based on that, I've got a filter to people that are matching this particular description. So much of time and resource again that you're saving upon rather than manually going into recordings and actually searching for them. So our traffic flow analysis has got a lot to offer. You can also have people counts done, and this can be done in different areas depending on how many entry and exit points you have within the store. If you're trying to monitor, let's say, footfall activity, that can be done. You can get heat maps, you can get crowd detections, you can also pick up on peak hours, and this is again something that is very, very beneficial, I would say, because you actually allow your clients to actually manage their resources based on a pattern that is developing. So, you can have this used more efficiently. Heat maps, it actually shows you the footfall count, which areas are more crowded, where are the places that we are getting less footfall, which are the most frequently used paths. Now, you see, these are all the kind of things that are going to help your client. Let's say tomorrow, if they are running a promotion, they'd ideally want to maximize their revenue by placing the products in the places that get the most footfall or along the paths that are most frequently taken. So all of these are things that we can have analyzed. If you've got any sort of choke points or bottlenecks, that is also something that we can have, analyzed and looked into. So here we just had a very, very quick calculation done in terms of ROI that, with the implementation of our analytics, how is it that we can help the retail segment very specifically? So this is just an example. We had this basically done for a retail or for a chain of retail stores, just as an exercise. So across the store, in terms of their resources, in terms of, let's say, their entire operations, the salaries being paid to the resources, how with the implementation of our analytics versus all of this, we've actually helped them to save a lot of money. What else? So I think this is the last slide on the analytics. So Scylla offers license plate recognition solutions as well, which you can utilize very, very effectively dependent on, the kind of use case scenario. So of course, the main objective here is to capture the number plates, but there are a lot of things that you can have done through various reports that we have available. So you can check on the total number of entries, exits, what do you have any sort of returning visitors, what are the average parking times. All of this can be monitored. This actually comes in two versions. We've got a basic version which specifically looks into capturing of number plates alone, but along with that we've got an advanced version as well. Now in the advanced version we've got some additional feature sets, one of which is something that we refer to as MMC, so that's make, model, color. We can have this information also pulled out from the vehicle statistics. Right. So moving on, I told you a little about our smart edge monitoring device, which is our exterior box earlier. So just to emphasize a little more on this again, now this device is a GPU-based server. It operates on Linux with the operating system being Ubuntu. Uh, Powerful device, enough of processing capability to have all of your analytics run in real time. Now, these boxes as standard, they come in three different sizes: small, medium, large. And by default, it is for use with intrusion detection. But should you have, like, your project could very well have various different analytics being required. Maybe you need face rec, maybe you need license plate recognition, you need fire and smoke, slip and fall. So for all of these things, Scylla does offer a custom appliance as well. So basically, that device is going to be tailored to meet all of the analytics requirements for your project. So that is also something that we offer. So in terms of deployment, you can either use our exterior box with the licenses already in it and have them implemented, or you could consider taking only the channel licenses from us and you can source the hardware locally. But how do you actually determine what is the sort of hardware that you need, to run your analytics? So this depends on a couple of factors. Number one is how many cameras do I have? Number two is what sort of analytics I'm running. So to make the life of our partners a little more easier, what we've done is we've come up with an online hardware calculator. Let me show you this very quickly because it's a very, very good tool to use. And I think, not a lot of our competitors offer something like this. So if I come onto our website under AI appliance, I come to hardware calculator. Here, I can specifically choose, first of all, what analytics I'm running. So let's say I've got fight detection, add group of cameras, maybe this is 3. Of course, you'll have to input the other parameters like what's the codec, what sort of resolution, how many frames per second, all of that. Then maybe I've got, along with that, I've got fire and smoke. I want to add another 2 cameras here. Then for theft detection, maybe I add another 4 cameras here. I'm just taking random examples. So along with this, then I just come down, say calculate. Okay. Here we go. So first thing you can actually verify here, you have a complete rundown on what is the sort of hardware requirements that you actually need. Okay, one sec. Okay. Here we go. Right. So first thing you can verify here that all of the analytics I've considered have been included. Like here, I've got 3 of the fight detection, 4 of the suspicious shopping behavior of the theft detection. All those analytics are included. And then here you have a complete breakdown on what is the sort of hardware device that I actually need to run these analytics. So very, very good and handy tool, which you can directly get onto our website and use it yourselves. So our solutions can be developed either on-premise with our exterior devices or your own servers along with our channel licenses. We've got solutions that are available on cloud as well. Now, for the cloud-based solutions, these are limited to 3 mainly, which is intrusion detection, false alarm filtering, and the object or weapon detection. Or you can choose to have a hybrid model where you basically have a combination of both these. So here's a quick summary on all of the solutions that I just showcased. So where is it that Scylla actually adds value to your security operations? So number one is we don't need to replace your existing video surveillance system. We can very well work with it. Like I was showcasing earlier, we just pull up a stream, map it onto a device, which basically runs in parallel to your CCTV operations, and you can have it very easily integrated into the VMS as well. So we don't disturb the existing infrastructure setup in any way. You can have the streams pulled either from a single camera or from multiple cameras. It really depends on how many RTSP streams that particular camera supports. Hardware requirements, like I mentioned, we are far cheaper as compared to competition. Now, here's the important thing. When we talk about implementation of an AI system, right, it's important that the solution that you're actually deploying is capable of self-learning and adjusting given the environment. And this is what our engines have actually been trained to do. So the more and more you use it, you will see how it turns out to be a lot more efficient, a lot more accurate. Our user interface is very, very simple. I'll show you that in a bit. Accuracy rates, Scylla actually boasts of effective accuracy rates, all in surplus of 90-95% for each of the different analytic solutions that we have. And of course, you can have this run on various different platforms, Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon cloud servers, all of that. If you need to cater to GDPR requirements, that is also something that we can have looked into. And just a couple of things actually I missed out on mentioning earlier, especially when it comes to the face recognition and the license plate recognition solutions. Now, for both of these solutions, in order to have more efficiency, more accuracy, you need to keep a certain things in mind. So basically, what we've done is, in our experience, we've seen what works, what doesn't work, what are the best practices or our recommendations actually to go about these installations. So if you get onto our website, there are some very good tools that we've got wherein you can access these documents, giving you a proper rundown on how to go about the installation when it comes to these particular applications. Because you've got to remember that your solutions are going to be as effective as the when the implementation is done right. So there are a lot of details that we actually cover in these documents. What is the sort of camera resolution you need to consider, what sort of lens I need to look at, what sort of distance I need to install the camera, what the ideal distance is between the camera and the person or the camera and the car. A lot of these things are actually listed out, which I'm sure will be very, very beneficial for you. So here are just some of the quick clients, some of our clients. We've got integrations with various other VMSs, which I'll just show you in a bit. And Scylla has actually been featured a lot in the media as well. So Forbes, BBC, Reuters, Entrepreneur. Here are just some quick client testimonials. I think the one that we can relate to most in this region is particularly Oman airports, where we've got a good reference. And that's pretty much it, actually, as far as the analytics are concerned. So very quick rundown on our dashboard, because I think this is something that is going to be of a lot of interest to you. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview actually. So I'm not going to go into detail into this too much. Now, coming to the dashboard, this is the home screen. The home screen is like a summary screen. So it gives you details on the different sites you've got, how many operators are using these sites, any sort of recent alarms that you have all appear on here. All of the analytics modules are on the right side here. So you will see there are some that are marked as white, some that are gray. So the white ones are basically the ones that are active and running. Like you can see, you see the engine says it's on. And it will also give you, if I've got 4 cameras for face rec, for example, you'll have the number 4 appearing here. And if you scroll a little below, here is the deployment. All of the active deployments will show on here. So you can add sites, you can check on your hardware, all of that can be done very easily. But this is ideally where the client actually spends most of their time, in the alarm panel. So in the alarms, we've got alarm management. Now, each time we send you an event or an alert is generated, this is the kind of information that you will get. Number one, it will tell you what the event was for. Like in this case, it was for intrusion detection. Your integration type depends on whether it's an on-premise or a cloud deployment. And then other information like when the alarm was generated, at what time, which camera it came from, what site does it refer to, all of that. Now, from here, every time we give you an alarm, there are 2 things that we actually do. Number one is we actually give you a small video recording. This will just be like maybe like a 3-4 second at the most video recording. And along with that, we give you a snapshot of the actual alert. So if you look at this, this is a video for intrusion detection and a small video clip. And here on the right side, you've got a snapshot of the actual intrusion itself, which in this case was a person. So from here, I can very easily acknowledge my alarm if I just want to, let's say, make a comment and have the alarm acknowledged, or I can dismiss it, mark it as false, or delete it. So you've got options of exporting this directly from here. If I just say copy link or email, I can export this link along with a secret passcode. So without this passcode, you can't open that link. So you can filter out depending on what alerts you're actually looking for. If I want slip and fall, for example, I can have the same thing actually done to check on any of the alerts that I've got from here. And all of these, see, the whole point of the analytics system is at the end of the day, I want a lot of, I want some sort of information, how I can generate my reports to check on the efficiency, to check on a lot of different things. So the reports actually can be generated from here, where I can actually schedule a report instead of manually going, at the end of each week and sitting and doing a report physically. I can just set up a recurring report wherein I choose recurring, maybe weekly at this particular time. You just enter your name, email, all the other details, set it to be active. And at the end of each week, at that given time, automatically the system is going to throw up all these reports to you. What else? We've got, I mentioned earlier that we've got integration with a lot of VMSs. Um, so this is all the list that basically that we integrate our analytics into. So all of the leading VMS manufacturers, the likes of Milestone, Genetec, Network Optics, Exact Vision, Eagle Eye, we've got integration with all of this. We've even done integration to an extent with like Hikvision and Dahua NVRs. So should that be, the camera that is being used, you've got an option available on there as well. What else? One important tool to actually show you here, just give me a minute, is the event rules. Now, in the event rules, you can actually define what sort of a call to action you want based on a particular event. Like, for example, if I'm just looking at an intrusion detection here, I can actually define each time I get this sort of an alert, what do I want to do? Send an alarm, send an email, send an HTTPS command. All of that can actually be defined from here, which is, I think, quite a handy tool because you're putting specific call to actions depending on specific alerts that you receive. So user rights, you can have this also looked into very effectively if you need to create any additional users. just add their details, name, email. You can also choose what they get like viewing rights to or managing rights to from here. Similarly, I can also have groups created. If I need to, let's say, put all of the IT people together, or all of the security guards together, I can actually have that done from here. And the roles and permissions here, you're actually going to define. You can either add a role or amend someone's existing permissions, So if I come on here and say edit, I can actually choose what I give them rights to from here. So a very, very quick summary. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a look and feel of, how the dashboard also works. So I think that's it from my side. I hope we've given you guys a very, very good understanding on how, with the implementation of analytics, you can make your security operations, firstly, a lot more proactive, a lot more efficient, a lot more productive, a lot of data-driven analytics, a lot of business intelligence that you can provide your customers with in addition to just, regular surveillance. So I think that's it from my side. Let me just quickly check if at all we've got any unanswered questions. No, we don't. Okay, so then that's it from us, guys. Thank you very, very much for the time. We really appreciate the time that you've taken. Do keep us in mind. Like I always tell all of my customers, please consider me as your extended sales arm. If you need any sort of assistance, please feel free to reach out. And we are here, we are happy to assist. So that's it from me. Then thank you, and I wish you all, you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.